The gavel came down with a finality that echoed through the medical board's hearing room. Dr. Marcus Brennan's face, once so smugly certain, crumbled like wet paper as the board president read the verdict. After reviewing extensive evidence of gross negligence, patient endangerment, and systematic malpractice, this board unanimously votes to revoke Dr. Marcus Brennan's medical license, effective immediately. I sat in the back row, my hand resting on the cane I no longer needed, but kept as a reminder. Around me, other patients, his former victims, erupted in applause. Mrs. Gutierrez wept with relief. Thomas Park pumped his fist in the air despite his still-healing surgical scars. And Dr. Brennan? He looked directly at me, recognition finally dawning in those cold blue eyes. Yes, doctor. The woman you dismissed. The one whose pain was all in her head. I now own the clinic where you once played God. But I'm getting ahead of myself. To understand this moment, you need to know about the day my life almost ended in examination room 3. 18 months earlier, I had walked into Riverside Medical Associates with a limp that had progressively worsened over 6 weeks. The pain in my left hip had started as a dull ache, the kind you attribute to a tough workout or sleeping wrong. But it had evolved into something sharp and insistent, radiating down my leg and up into my lower back. Dr. Brennan had come highly recommended. Best orthopedic specialist in the state, my primary care physician had said. The waiting list for new patients was 3 months long, but a cancellation had gotten me in sooner. I'd thought myself lucky. He'd entered the examination room like he was doing me a personal favor, barely glancing up from his tablet. 50-something, silver-haired, with the kind of athletic build that suggested weekend tennis at the country club. MS? Novak. Julia Novak. Right. Says here you're experiencing some hip pain. His tone suggested I'd interrupted something far more important. I explained my symptoms carefully. The progression, the intensity, how it affected my work as a financial analyst, my inability to sleep through the night. He half listened while scrolling through his tablet. Let's have a look, he said with a sigh. The examination was perfunctory. A few prods, a half-hearted range of motion test, barely 3 minutes of actual attention. I don't see anything concerning, he announced, already heading for the door. Classic psychosomatic pain. Are you under stress at work? Going through a divorce perhaps? No, this isn't stress. Something's wrong. The pain is getting worse every day. He turned back, impatience radiating from every line of his body. Ms. Novak, I've been doing this for 25 years. I know the difference between real pathology and anxiety manifesting as physical symptoms. You're what, 32? Prime age for health anxiety in professional women. Health anxiety? I couldn't keep the disbelief out of my voice. I can barely walk. It's all in your head, he snapped. I see this all the time. High-achieving women who can't admit they're overwhelmed, so their bodies create pain as a cry for help. I'm prescribing a mild antidepressant and referring you to a therapist who specializes in somatoform disorders. I don't need a therapist. I need you to find out why I'm in pain. His face darkened. I've given you my professional opinion. If you don't like it, you're free to seek a second opinion elsewhere. Though I doubt you'll find anyone who disagrees with my assessment. Good day. He left me sitting on the examination table, prescription in hand, tears of frustration burning my eyes. I tried to believe him. After all, he was the expert, right? I filled the antidepressant prescription, though something in me rebelled at taking it. I even made an appointment with the therapist, Dr. Linda Hoffman, who at least had the decency to look uncomfortable when I explained why I was there. Julia, she said gently after our 3rd session, while I'm happy to continue working with you if you find it helpful, I need to be honest. Nothing in our sessions suggests somatoform disorder. Your pain responses are consistent with actual physical pathology. Have you considered getting a second opinion? By then, the pain had become unbearable. I'd started using a cane, missing work more often than not. My boss, thankfully understanding, had transitioned me to remote work. But even sitting at my desk was agony. The second opinion came from Dr. Sarah Winters at City General. She ordered an MRI within 5 minutes of examining me. I can't believe no one ordered imaging, she muttered, helping me onto the examination table. With pain this severe and specific, the MRI revealed what Dr. Brennan's arrogance had missed, a large tumor pressing against my sciatic nerve. Further tests confirmed it was a rare but treatable form of nerve sheath tumor. Treatable, Dr. Winters emphasized, if caught early. How long have you been experiencing symptoms? She asked. About 4 months now. But I only saw Dr. Brennan 2 months ago. Her expression tightened. 2 months could have made a significant difference. The tumor has grown considerably. Surgery will be more complex now, and there may be permanent nerve damage. The surgery took 9 hours. The tumor, which could have been removed with a simple procedure months earlier, had wrapped itself around crucial nerves. Dr. Winters and her team performed miracles, but the damage was done. I woke up with partial paralysis in my left leg, facing months of physical therapy with no guarantee of full recovery. But worse than the physical pain was the rage. Pure, crystalline fury at the man whose ego had cost me so much. I started documenting everything. Every appointment, every dismissive comment, every piece of evidence showing how a proper examination would have caught the tumor. During my recovery, flat on my back in a rehabilitation center, I had nothing but time to research. And what I found shocked me. Dr. Marcus Brennan had a pattern. A long, ugly pattern hidden behind settlements and non-disclosure agreements. Women primarily, whose legitimate medical concerns he'd dismissed as hysteria, anxiety, or attention-seeking. I found them through careful digging. Social media posts, court records, whispered warnings in online forums. Lisa Chun, whose endometriosis went undiagnosed for 3 years while Dr. Brennan prescribed antidepressants. She'd lost an ovary by the time another doctor caught it. Margaret Holstead told her chest pains were panic attacks. The heart condition was discovered during an autopsy after she died at 43. Amira Patel, whose stress headaches turned out to be a brain aneurysm that burst while she was driving, leaving her permanently disabled. 17 women over 15 years. 17 lives destroyed or damaged by one man's toxic mixture of arrogance and misogyny. I started reaching out, one by one. Some wouldn't talk, too traumatized, too tired, or bound by legal agreements. But 8 brave souls agreed to share their stories. During my 6th month of recovery, while relearning to walk without a pronounced limp, I received an unexpected call. My elderly great-aunt Miriam had passed away, leaving me her estate. I'd expected perhaps a small inheritance, maybe some jewelry or bonds. I had not expected $3.2 million and a letter. "My dear Julia," it read in her spidery handwriting. "I know we weren't close, but I've watched your career with pride. You have the sharp mind of the Novak women. Use this wisely. Make your mark on the world. And remember, the best revenge is a life well lived." Most people would have bought a house, invested conservatively, taken a nice vacation. But I was consumed with a different vision. A way to ensure what happened to me, to us, never happened again. Riverside Medical Associates was struggling. I knew this from my research. Despite Dr. Brennan's reputation, patient numbers were declining. Lawsuits, though settled quietly, had drained resources. The other partners were looking for an exit strategy. I incorporated Novak Medical Holdings LLC and made my approach through intermediaries. The negotiations took 4 months. The other partners, Drs. Rodriguez and Kim, were decent physicians tired of being associated with Brennan's reputation. They were happy to sell their shares. Dr. Brennan fought it, of course. But he only owned 40% of the practice, and financial necessity won. By the time he realized who was behind the purchase, it was too late. I'll never forget his face the day I walked into the clinic as the new majority owner. I still used a cane then, though I no longer needed it. The symbolism was too perfect to abandon. "You," he breathed, color draining from his face. "Me," I agreed pleasantly. "We need to discuss some changes to clinic protocols. Starting with mandatory imaging for any patient presenting with persistent pain. Oh, and I'll need all patient records from the last 15 years for a comprehensive audit." The audit revealed exactly what I'd expected and worse. Patterns of dismissal, particularly with female patients. Inadequate examinations. Failure to order basic diagnostic tests. And buried in the files, evidence that he'd altered records after the fact when patients sought second opinions. I compiled everything into a comprehensive report. Page after page of documented negligence, supported by patient testimonials and expert analysis. The medical board had no choice but to investigate. Dr. Brennan tried everything. Legal threats. Attempts to rally his country club network. Even a laughable offer to buy back the clinic at triple what I'd paid. But I had something more powerful than his connections. The truth, meticulously documented and corroborated by 18 brave patients who agreed to testify. The hearing lasted 3 days. Each testimony was more damning than the last. Mrs. Gutierrez, who'd lost kidney function because her urinary tract infections were actually kidney disease. Thomas Park, whose pulled muscle was actually a torn ligament that healed incorrectly due to lack of treatment. And me, walking to the witness stand with only the slightest limp, a living testament to what survival despite medical negligence looked like. He told me it was all in my head, I said, looking directly at him. That I was just another hysterical woman seeking attention. The tumor growing on my nerve was very real, Dr. Brennan. The permanent damage to my leg is very real. And the paper trail showing you've done this repeatedly for 15 years is very, very real. After the board revoked his license, Dr. Brennan tried to slip out during the chaos. But the crowd of former patients blocked his path, not threateningly, just standing witness to his fall. 18 women, I said as he passed. 18 women whose lives you damaged because you couldn't be bothered to actually practice medicine. I want you to remember that number. He paused, his mouth working soundlessly. For a moment, I thought he might apologize. Instead, he straightened his tie and pushed past us, clinging to his arrogance even in defeat. But the story doesn't end there. Because Riverside Medical Associates, now renamed Miriam Novak Memorial Clinic, had work to do. I recruited Dr. Winters to be our new chief of medicine. We instituted protocols that prioritized patient advocacy and comprehensive diagnostic procedures. We created a review board that included patient representatives. We offered free consultations to anyone whose concerns had been dismissed by their primary physician. Within 6 months, we'd become known as the clinic that listened. That took women's pain seriously. That didn't mistake systematic bias for medical expertise. The other beautiful irony? Many of Dr. Brennan's former colleagues, mortified by association, began referring their complex cases to us. The clinic's reputation transformed from cautionary tale to success story. I still work my finance job, now fully remote and flexible around my continuing physical therapy. But I spend evenings at the clinic, ensuring our standards never slip. My cane sits in my office, retired but not forgotten, a reminder of how close I came to being another silent statistic. Last week, a young woman came in with hip pain her doctor had dismissed as workout strain. Our new orthopedic specialist, Dr. Amy Chong, ordered an MRI immediately. They caught the stress fracture before it could worsen. "Thank you for believing me," the patient said, tears in her eyes. "That's what we're here for," I replied, thinking of Aunt Miriam and her advice about revenge and well-lived lives. Because the best revenge isn't just success, it's building something better from the ruins of what failed you. It's ensuring that the pain you endured prevents others from suffering the same fate. It's taking "it's all in your head" and turning it into "we hear you, we believe you, and will help you." Dr. Marcus Brennan lost his license, his practice, and his reputation. But more importantly, the system that enabled him lost its power to silence patients. And that victory belongs to all of us who refuse to be dismissed. The clinic thrives. My leg has healed as much as it ever will. And somewhere Dr. Brennan is learning what it feels like to not be believed. Poetic justice, delivered one properly diagnosed patient at a time.